Hi friends, Rocky Outcrop here, Ethereum technical analysis coming at your faces. Check it out. Let's see, what did we say in yesterday's episode? What did we call yesterday's episode? What did we call it? We called it Ethereum TA ready for 473 or 390 bucks. Obviously, what we have on the go here is a nice rise up in pricing. Let's just check where it went to. What was the rationale for that 473 type chat? Well, it was where this purple line was coming in at. Let me just double check and see. Oh no, wait a minute. The purple line was coming in at around about 474 here on the daily time frame. Let me just see. Did we really touch it or not? We did. We touched it bang on that. Or did it just right there, you know, at 474, 475. Well, I said 473 in the video title, and it made it all the way up to 474 and 40 cents. So what? My God, isn't that an amazing technical analysis? And isn't that increased your account, size your account? Aren't you glad you've hit that subscribe button? Wait, what was that? You haven't hit the subscribe button yet? Oh my goodness, well, you're only hurting yourself. If you want to share this with your friends as well, youtube.com/Rocky Outcrop. I'm sure I know one person, me, who would appreciate it. Thanks so much, by the way. Let's take a look at how we come up here and what's really going on. And by the way, I would recommend that you check out the Bitcoin episode because it is rather stellar as well, as indeed are the previous ones. If you haven't checked out yesterday's episodes, then you're missing out. So do that for this as well, and you will certainly benefit. I swear to goodness, I really do. Now, what was I talking about in the Bitcoin episode though? Musically, not TikTok, not the old TikTok. But from a point of view of music, what was I talking about? I was talking about how we've had this high here, which came up to this height, you know, here on the RSI. Then the subsequent high here, which came up to this height here in the RSI, and indeed, you know, similar sort of stories with these oscillators down below, you know, like the histogram on the MACD. Looking at that there. Then we had this subsequent high that came in, and so far, while it hasn't closed off yet, and of course these are not set in stone, they've come in to this high, which is lower than those previous ones. The DMI indeed as well is just shy of you know, just in there about to asking a question about whether or not it'll be divergent or not, you know, and the MACD, well, you know, is looking kind of okay between these 2 points here, but questions still remain because we haven't really closed out the day's pricing. So if we don't actually push on past this area in terms of price action, the MACD will almost certainly end up being pull it. You know, if we don't at least stay where we are, then the MACD could end up being bearishly divergent. If we don't at least stay where we are, then the DMI could indeed end up being bearishly divergent. Any pullbacks on this one would maybe undo the bearish divergence on this point just now. Well, no, it wouldn't. Would it? No, it would seal it in, guarantee it. Sorry, any pullbacks would see this coming back down to maybe that 29 area, and likewise for the stochastics and the RSI and all that jazz as well. So if we push on past it a bit more and get into this purple zone here and try for our next target towards the top side, which would be let's call it 487 and 500. Let's call it 490 and 500. Then those targets, then perhaps we would be able to push past this and undo that potential for divergence and come in with a healthier high which undoes this, or not. And what does that pertain to musically? Well, it goes back to that song by Lonnie Donegan, The Rock Island Line. You can look it up on YouTube. Like it's right there, Lonnie Donegan, Rock Island Line. And the line is his favourite line to ride, because what he's able to do when he's riding the Rock Island Line is to fool people by saying that he's got all livestock in the back of his train, when in fact he's got pig iron, which allows him to go up towards these other areas without paying any of that toll that he would need to pay to get along that line towards the top side. Then later on, he kind of shouts out the back of his window, "I fooled you, I got pig iron, I got all pig iron." So so we have to kind of be aware of this section, you know. And so let's bring up the DMI then, just looking at this right now. You can see there's a cross here, nice. It was above 20 on the ADX when it crossed, nice. This all happened in you know, just over the last since this sort of bottom that came in here. This bottom that came in was not actually bullishly divergent, really looking between the lows here on this downward trend. But if you're looking at this as a bigger picture, then you've got between this previous low here really and then this low, as opposed to the flux on the way down towards this low, and that is indeed hidden bullish divergence that you've got on the charts in that period there between these two, as you can see on the oscillators down below. So interesting stuff. That hidden bullish divergence hasn't pushed us up towards this area, and we have to find out if it is indeed all live stock or if it's pig iron that's in the back of this one, right? So that's what we're currently waiting for. DMI looks fairly positive. Like I say, if these things pull back the way, then that picture would very much rapidly change. But things are looking okay, and that's on this particular time frame. On the weekly time frame, looking up above, then we can drag this speculative Fibonacci retracement point up there and say now, instead of being at 390s, we're talking about this at 415 bucks. That's going to have to operate as support for us. Movements down past that are going to be fairly negative potentially for us. I'd watch out for it. Pardon me, where's the top of that one at? Move it. So then, I like to move it. So then 382 then is where this other 236 is. So, and we've seen 382 and that dynamic that's around that pricing recently. We know that. So if we did revisit these areas, then we would know how that could maybe be feeling along the way. It's something to look out for. If we look here, this little area, there's the potential in this last little top area right now for bearish divergence to be getting set in across the board down those oscillators. So we could see things pull back, cut back down the way towards these other targets. Could even see as much as a 10% pullback in price action. Everybody that's got this upward side action has been really pleased, no doubt, given that that's a solid 10% move towards the top side. If we did go down to this line here, for instance, and you're looking at a 9% drop down in price action from where we've been at today so far, where we kind of more or less currently are. So I'd look out for all of that. Jumping over towards this Coinbase charts just to get more price action here and our pitchfork on the go again. Then where have we come in relation to this FANG? And we've seen the resistance there over there on the 10th of August at the top, the upper line, and we've seen it here happening again almost, but then breaking through it right now. And that's the question that we're asking in terms in terms of this price coming in here at say about 450, and will we revisit that again? That's on the weekly time frame. Go towards the daily time frame so you can see it's a bit clearer. We have spent some time above this upper line here in the past, and then come back down again. So that's what I'd be looking to again if that were to happen. Just immediately, where would that be? And that would be down there at 450. And we have this rising wedge on the go as well that we've spoken about in recent times. That we did break down below. It seemed like in that bullish price, bullish in that period there, but we talk about these things all the time. And what happens to a failed rising wedge like that? Well, it turns into a parallel channel as well. So we have all of that in the go. Movements then down past this zone could take us down towards again our median channel line, our median line of the sort of the parallel channel in the middle of this pitchfork, looking here towards that 408 bucks again area. If we were to see support coming in at 415 or so, and around about where we have this fuzzy box at in this sort of zone here, then of course things remain kind of bullish with a higher, yet again another higher low, and we can look out for more sort of that hidden bullish divergence if we're going to have some as we had in this previous low, and how things pan out towards the top side if we do continue to move up towards the top side, and indeed profit taking targets coming in there and around about that $500 and something, for instance, for that first area thereafter. If you were to go kind of crazy on it and you're looking to your next high, having moved up above the 236 on the big time frame, I say crazy, but this is why we came to this chart, to show this really off in the first place. Then you'd be looking up to that 382 as being your next profit taking target thereafter at 588. Don't tell me after the fact that I didn't tell you these numbers in advance so that you would know them. Now, let's just as well bear in mind that there are other measured moves and sort of things like that we've discussed about recently, and they could take us up to various other targets, but we don't need to get too bogged down in the detail. I could also draw a parallel channel in here, and you can see that that's where, if I were to just borrow this measuring stick here and take it and just use this in terms of a guideline price for us, depending on if this were to happen. If it were to happen relatively soon, you're talking 550 as well again. So there's various different things I could talk about. Don't need to get too bogged up in the detail. Everything's been going along more or less according to plan, and that's really lovely for us all. I hope that you've really all benefited from it. Bear in mind then that if we do come up here and then only close out at this point, it's your third instance bearish divergence, the third instance of bearish divergence along the way, along this Ethereum price timeline. I wonder if that reminds you of anything. I'm sure there's some people out there who could give you a quick idea about it. Let's say we drop down to the 4-hour time frame on the go here and look at Chainlink and go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Those were 3 areas of bearish divergence that then saw a pullback in the prices of, let's just measure this out, shall we, in terms of percentages and change the Chainlink. 35%. If that were to happen with regards to this after 3 instances of that divergence along the way, what you'd be looking at in terms of a price drop down could be anything around about 35%. So you were to look at that down to $305 again, where we do indeed have historical green grass of home areas, and this $305 to $315 where the 618 golden pocket zone is on this one, with this having now been adjusted to accommodate the most recent and rise price action. Wow, amazing episode, Rocky. Yeah, thanks very much. Oh, I was about to tune out there. People, you need to know, stay past me saying bye, because I often forget to say things and then I just stick it in after I said cheerio. In this, we've got a failed head and shoulders pattern. Okay, failed head and shoulders pattern against the Bitcoin pairing. That's all very good in terms of all this moving towards the top side, bringing up these oscillators. You can see that while there was indeed very much bearish divergence between these 2 points, that while we haven't set this in quite yet, we could maybe be looking at if we sink back down again in terms of price action, just a little chunk, could say go down towards from where we are just now at this 3959 area, then we could be looking down towards, we could put in that bearish divergence, but we've actually come up here quite close to our targets of that 4K area. 3964 is our top so far today, and indeed, we've more or less achieved the bullish outcomes from what we were talking about before with regards to all of this price action. I'm sure probably could adjust these other things to get them to fit a bit better in terms of movements and everything else. Yes, we saw this area here coming in with its heading bearish divergence on the go here, pushing towards the top side in terms of price action. I'm going to borrow this previous ascending triangle thing to put that in like that and say that that's potentially that top side, that's potentially that side, and we could be looking at this as well in terms of just the overall sort of berishly tighter divergence shape on this thing, if that's to be the case. But we're currently pushing past it right now, making this look like it could be a big old falling wedge, in which case that's quite positive, and we could go up towards these other overbought territories again, pushing past our profit taking target. Bang on that right now, looking at that thing. I mean, it's really remarkable where we put that in at, when you see that this isn't just relying on, this is amazing stuff, right? So you should hit that button. I don't actually trade that much between the Bitcoin and Ethereum pair, but if I had done, then I'd have been making money there now. Nicely. Let's just stick this in here to the Fibonacci thing and say then that in terms of, staying positive on this, look towards the 21 EMA and the 3,500 area, or whatever this is, whatever number that actually adds up to be. Then on that for remaining bullish in the face of potential livestock, got all livestock, pig iron, right? Okay, cool, nice one. You actually made the right decision to stay there past me saying bye. I'll maybe edit a tiny bit of the whole bye-byes out or something, and then make it so it's easier so people know not to tune out. So in which case, thanks for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button. If you want to hit that join button, you totally can. I'm not going to tell you not to. If you want to join the Discord and send money to me, you can. I'm sorry. I just think it's worth saying it, because if you're anything like me, you've increased your trading account size recently, and because of this excellent technical analysis that we've got on the go, and therefore you are a winner. And if you're a winner, maybe you feel like you want to buy me a chicken dinner, whatever. Cool. Catch you next time. Join the Discord though, anyway, just for the chats and nazzles.